So this is really a video about how I shot the GR Supra, which is not as catchy as saying how to shoot the GR Supra. I am generally more excited about locations and light than specific cars when it comes to photographing them. Most cars will look really good in a beautiful place at the right time of day. But this car with the yellow really popped against the natural beauty of the Texas Hill Country, which is where I chose to shoot the Supra. I've driven these roads on Porsche drives, but it's rarely do I get the chance to stop wherever I want, and it's never at a photogenic time of day. Shooting out here was all new to me, so I just kind of drove around looking for interesting places to stop. Out here, you're limited to where you can stop by the number of turnouts and safe pull-off areas, but I tried to make the most of what I found. I'm gonna take you through four stops, explain what I did and why. So I really like hot spots of light punching through long shadows. I am addicted to it, especially with a bright car, which really pops in the sunlight. I saw this spot and I stopped. This was at the bottom of a hill. There was still plenty of sun at higher elevations, but down lower it was getting a little bit dark. I really like how the sun hits the double bubble roof of the Supra against that dark background. I hopped across the guardrail to get a little bit more foreground interest, but the trees and stuff were way too dark for it to really work, and also there was these baton marker things in the guardrail that did not look great. So I didn't want to Photoshop those out. I would not include that version in my final set of images. I was also able to climb on some rocks behind the car to get higher new perspectives and to shoot some of the details while the Supra was fully lit by the sun. So I saw this carved out limestone wall and I thought it would be a cool texture. This was a really tight area, so there were a lot of things that I could put between myself and the car, like this guardrail, which was an interesting compositional device. The trees are kind of casting a shadow on the car, which is maybe distracting, but I don't mind it. Depending on your assignment, I don't know what you're doing, it's nice to get some non-car things to give context to your car shots. These help tell a story, they paint a picture of the scene, and as a bonus, you come home with something besides just car pictures. This spot was at the top of a hill with a really nice vista, which I couldn't really shoot directly into because of the sun position. I had to shoot slightly into the sun, shooting into the shadow side of the car, since there was an ugly ranch fence on the opposite side. So the first version of this shot, you can see, I got low out of habit, and you completely miss the elevation, the background, the scenery, everything that makes this a cool location. So I stood higher up, but it's a little bit one-dimensional. And then I went back into some trees to get a little bit more stuff in the foreground. And then I adjusted just a bit to get the sun coming through the tree a little more to give a nice flare. I think each of these improved the photo a little bit, and I'm pretty happy with where this ended up. The illuminated LED taillights of modern cars are always cool to shoot, and since it was getting dark, they really popped. I got a lot of shots of that. If you're shooting a car review, it's always nice to have a badge detail, and if you have a sunset, that is a great time to do that. It was dark when I left this location, so I saved one more spot for the morning. This last one I wanted to get was an interior, and the sun was already rising quickly, making it harder to find some shade in a natural place. I parked in this sort of man-made canyon to soften the sunlight, but the sun was already lighting up the rock walls, so I had to frame this to not include the hotspots. Hotspots sometimes, exteriors, I love it. Hotspots with interiors, I am not a fan. You can see another video I did about what not to do, and you will see why. Make sure that the steering wheel and the logo on it are in focus when you shoot the interior, because even on a passenger side perspective image like this one, it is the first thing your eye goes to. If that is soft, it's gonna look like a mistake. For this, I'm at 24 millimeters, which is pretty normal for a full interior shot. You can see in the raw file versus the edit, but I warmed everything up and I desaturated the blues and the greens from the seats and the dash to make this just more neutral and more inviting. So that's how I went about shooting the GR Supra in the Texas Hill Country. This is a polarizing car. It looks pretty much like nothing else, but I love the way all the curves, caught the sunlight, and the way the nitro yellow paint stood out and complemented the natural landscape at sunset. There's a link in the description to see the high-res photos that I shot, plus I also shot in a downtown setting, and those are included there as well. If you like this video, please tell your friends about the channel, and I'll see you next time.